Season's greetings, film fans. Aaron here to remind you that 1 million home invasions happen every year. We here at evacstation have been doing our research. We know where you live, the combinations to all your locks and safes, and when you'll be home. If you want to avoid being on a statistic, head over to patreon.com/evacstation. For less than the cost of complex traps to keep burglars at bay, you can have peace of mind knowing we'll be busy making podcasts for you to enjoy. Help us give our loved ones a Merry Christmas this year. Again, it's patreon.com/evacstation. Thank you, and happy holidays. We were left to our own devices, and wouldn't you know it, we nearly killed the delivery man, mistaking him for a robber. Left him a good tip, though. We are Ryan Merrydors.
Hello, hello, hello.
And I am Aaron J. with S-Claus. How's it going, everybody? It's another Christmas episode. Number 2 of the month.
I love these. I really do.
It's been a nice, refreshing break from all the... I love the Miyazaki we did, I love the Marvel we did, and I even loved the horror we've done. We got one more we gotta do. We're going out of order, but it won't release until, 2 days from now. But that's not the point. Point is, I've had fun, but it's been a nice, refreshing, lighthearted break from everything.
Indeed. And I personally really like the format that we're doing with the shorter series, rather than jumping back into a 22-long movie track, which was amazing, but it's good to switch it up a little more often than not. It's pretty cool. I'm digging it.
Yep, and as I'll mention in multiple times in this season, next year in 2019, expect a lot more shorter, concise seasons. I know there's a bunch of Shyamalan we can cover. I know there's a bunch of DC we're not going to touch because it's older and way outside our little narrow time slot. And I know there's a lot more Godzilla and everything, but guys, we're going to get a little bit of everything. And if we like it and if you like it, leave comments down below and we'll come back to it, because I swear to Christ, we can keep going forever. But we do need some donations, we do need some views, so do all that. And of course, leave reviews and share us on iTunes or your platform of choice, because that helps us get a lot more views from people who don't know who we are. It's great. So yeah, all that stuff will help us out. Much appreciated. So Ryan, I have a new question here for you this week for our holiday-themed stuff.
What you got for me?
Ryan, you and I are about the same age. We're literally about a week or two apart.
Yeah.
So in our 28 years of living, I have to ask you, out of all the 28 Christmases you can remember, what has been your favorite Christmas gift?
Ooh.
I know, this is a tough one, because some of them really stand out, and other ones just kind of I don't remember if that was good or not.
Ooh.
I have one that's not good, but I can share it anyway, because it's a funny story.
Alright. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that real quick. Then you can do your favorite, and I'll do my actual favorite here.
Okay.
Just to give you a little bit of time to think about it. So, when I was a kid, my brother and I got into this show called Rocket Power, where there were snowboarding, skateboarding, all that stuff. And one thing I wanted for Christmas one year was a snowboard, because I'm like, that seems cool. We live on a hill. Why not have one and do some cool shit with it? And so my mom and dad got me one, and it was very cool. But that was also the year we didn't get any snow.
Oh my god.
And then the following year, when we got snow, I'm like, okay, I can use this now. My feet had grown so big that they would no longer fit in that child's snowboard.
No!
So, yeah. I liked the gift. It was a good thought, good idea, and I would have probably shredded up that hill like none other, but unfortunately it was not meant to be.
Oh.
It never happened.
The irony.
It's so sad.
Oof,
So Ryan, with that in mind, what is your actual favorite gift?
Alright, well, my actual favorite gift, it actually doesn't come from my parents, because my parents, I love their hearts. I was a super spoiled child. Most things that were materialistic that I wanted, I asked for, and they were able to get me, and I loved them dearly for it. But I mean, it was a bunch of video games, just normal standard geeky kid shit. The best Christmas gift I have received to this day comes from one of my best friends in the world. And he actually got it as part of as like Christmas slash belated housewarming present. He knows that one of my favorite movies of all time is The Matrix. Mm-hmm. And what he did was he actually had something like custom made on Etsy. It was a wood placard with green like script written on it. And if you remember the Oracle's kitchen, when she points up at a sign and says, that's Latin, it means know thyself. He had that made for me as a housewarming gift and as a Christmas present. And
that is really cool.
Yeah, and that is in my kitchen today. That is going to be a part of every house that I live in from here until eternity because it was a great gift.
Very good, very good. I like that. So, quick shout out to last year's gifts, because I got two that were really good last year that I don't want to say because they're so new, but I feel like they might win in the long run. Mom and Dad got me a set of kitchen knives last year that will obviously work well for me because I cook a lot, and having good knives is helpful in the kitchen. If you don't know that, folks, that's tip number one. Get good knives. Number two, though, obviously is Amanda's gift from last year. And while it might sound a little bit childish, I mean, it is the one game I played this year that I finished and immediately wanted to jump back in again, and have not because I had so much other shit to do. That's Persona 5, because, oh my god, that game is so good. But I gotta give the win, ultimately, to Mom and Dad for a gift they got me back when I was like 11 or 12, maybe 10. I don't remember exactly when. So this is back when my brother and I shared a room, and they set up a gift in the playroom area we had. It was like just a little room where we had toys, our games, and stuff like that. And that year, my brother and I had gone double team, so we won a Nintendo 64. And the reason I won is because of Pokemon and Smash Bros. And I've been playing them at a friend's house. I'm like, I really want to play these games. These are a lot of fun. So, Mom and Dad bought it. But instead of just giving us a box to unwrap and everything, they went out of their way to set up the system and everything in the room, and they gave us like a set of clues to follow to go find it. And it was pretty damn fun, just to kind of go through all that.
That's awesome.
It was cool. And our first games were actually Pokemon Stadium, and I think they actually did get a Smash Bros. For the 64. So, got exactly what we wanted, and I have not gone back since. Those have been some of the best times ever, man. Good times.
Damn, that's good stuff, man.
But they're not Persona 5, so I don't know. Alright, so with that in mind, should we get on to this today's holiday jingle?
Yes.
Yes, and today's Christmas jingle is Home Alone, released in 1990 and directed by Chris Columbus. No, not that one. Its cumulative worldwide gross currently sits at $533,800,000. The film stars actors such as John Hurd, Catherine O'Hara, John Candy, great cameo by the way, Robert Blossom, Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci, of course, and the real hero of this picture, Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, goddamn.
You may be surprised, right? This film has actually won a few notable awards.
That wouldn't surprise me at all, honestly.
including funniest actor in a motion picture from the American Comedy Awards, the BMI Film and Music Awards to John Williams. I didn't realize he scored this one. I'm impressed. Best Comedy Film from the British Comedy Awards, and Most Promising Actor from the Chicago Film Critics Association to Macaulay Culkin. Boy, would they be surprised to find out years later when he kind of stops really acting hardcore.
Well, I mean, child celebrities, man. It's not a great life. It's really not.
It's not, and you could argue there should be some kind of labor laws involved, but I don't know how you solve that one. I'm not a politician or a film working guy, so words, I can't do them good here. But I do have some fun facts for you. First off, I've got 3 regarding the Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern combo. Let's do it. So Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern felt indifferent about the film's potential during shooting, so they intentionally gave over-the-top performances, neither one of them believing the film would become a massive success.
That's hilarious. Honestly, if you just pitch the idea, it sounds pretty goddamn ridiculous and just who's gonna enjoy this shit? But hey, I mean, I would argue that was part of their them hedging their bets and just kind of going nuts with it that actually made the movie that much better. So, haha.
Excellent. I still have 2 other facts here, one for Stern and one for Pesci. Pesci's fact: Joe Pesci kept forgetting that he was He kept forgetting he was filming a family movie during his character's on-screen outbursts. So Chris Columbus advised him to say fridge instead of the F word.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Daniel Stern wore rubber feet for his barefoot scenes, similar to how Bruce Willis as John McClane did in Die Hard, which we talked about last week.
The callback.
Callbacks, huh? And people didn't think we were going to be a professional around here.
Spare no expense.
Spare no expense. So with that, Ryan, what are your initial thoughts on the movie?
This is one of my all-time classics. This is something I can always put on and just forget how crappy life can be sometimes. It's just a lot of fun. It's really good humor, and it's one of those movies that always makes it feel warm inside. So I was so happy to revisit this one.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I had actually never seen this growing up.
Really?
Yeah, I never got to it. I think it played in the background once at a family thing, but I was busy doing something else, I guess. I don't know. I was a kid then, too, so my attention span, I don't know where it was then. But yeah, no, I've never actually seen it in its entirety. Every time I did see bits and pieces of it, I'm like, and I moved on. So, seeing it for the first time here, it's alright. It's good. I can see what people like it. It's not entirely my thing. Not that I hate it at all. I do think it's got some fun moments, but overall, it's not anything that is endearing to me. But I also didn't grow up with it, so
that's really interesting. So it'll be cool that I'm coming at it with the nostalgia factor, and you're coming at it kind of like eyes wide open.
Yep, eyes wide shut.
Eyes wide. I almost said it. I almost was like, no, Cooper, get back in the fucking corner.
See, I like how you almost said it. I'm like, I'm going to say it, because that's awesome. Alright, without further ado, let me give you a synopsis. Here we go. The McAllister family prepares for an overseas trip to their family holiday getaway. And a young Kevin McAllister is put down by his family and kind of treated like an afterthought, even by his big asshole of a brother. In all fairness, Kevin is kind of being unlikable shit in the beginning, so it's fine. Kevin gets scolded sent to his room for making a bit of a mess the night before the family leaves on their trip. Mad, Kevin wishes he didn't have a family anymore. While all are asleep, a freak accident happens, causing a power outage. This causes the family to oversleep, and they rush out the door to catch their flight. A counting error results in the family leaving Kevin behind. They'll know it's a little too late. Kevin wakes up to find his whole family gone, presumably sucked into the void of no return. At first, he enjoys the newfound freedom, eating whatever he wants, watching whatever he wants, and basically letting everything fall to anarchy. Meanwhile, a pair of robbers, Harry and Marv, I'm going to call them Team Rocket, are going around and robbing the neighborhood. Having cased the houses earlier in the week, before everyone left, they keep avoiding Kevin's home, thinking someone is still at home. For now. They talk about how they'll break into the home at a certain time, just loud enough for Kevin to hear. During Kevin's many shenanigans, he meets one of his neighbors at a local church, a creepy old man who has a lot of rumors about him. The old man, Marley, tells Kevin they aren't actually true, and he's had a little bit spat of a family of his own, resulting in him not speaking to his son for many, many years. Kevin encourages him to reach out to his son, and Marley tells Kevin that he'll come to realize how important his family is too. Inspired by Marley's words, Kevin returns home to prepare for the final battle. Team Rocket returns to the McAllister home, thinking they'll be able to talk Kevin into letting him in and then just get him out of the way for a while. But things immediately escalate with a BB gun to the balls and ice traps in the stairs. The two men struggle to get into the house. Kevin calls the cops and leads the men to one of the other homes they've already burgled. They think they've got Kevin caught, but Deus Ex Marley arrives to keep Kevin from being killed, or probably, just tortured, I guess. The petty thieves are caught, and their crime spree's at an end for now. The family returns Christmas Day, and Kevin has learned a valuable lesson. And certainly, a mistake like this will never happen again.
Of course not. Of course not. There are no sequels to this movie.
So I watched this with Amanda, and she talked to me about it. And she said the second one has Kevin back in. The third one has the robbers back in. I mean, the robbers are in 2 as well. And then the fourth one, does that have everybody recast?
Well, so I know they recast, or they don't follow Kevin in the third one, but I didn't know that the robbers came back in the third one. I've actually only seen the first 2.
Okay. So maybe that's something we do in a future video. We'll find out.
I mean, I would be absolutely down to see Home Alone 2 because that's my favorite one of the 2.
Oh, really?
It's so much fun, and Tim Curry is in that shit.
Ooh, I wish I'd known that one. I might have gone for that one instead. Tim Curry.
Oh my god. But yeah, no. I love this movie, hearing you describe it and just like kind of stepping away from nostalgia, I can see how much nostalgia is coloring my vision on this movie. It's surely a classic. It is surely a classic. But I can see somebody walking into it without the nostalgia and saying, it's okay, it's all right. I can see that.
So I am very curious where you're coming from now. So when I read that and you said you could see where your nostalgia is kind of coloring things in, can you give me an example or two?
Well, I mean, it's just that I can. It's almost weird. It's almost like I can like get a like an echo of like all the times I've laughed at the jokes in the past, and they still it's still funny to me, but it's hard for me to remove that out of the context of the fact that I've seen this movie since I was like 3 years old. So I can damn near quote the movie verbatim, and it's hard to separate myself from that and just like kind of take the jokes at face value like I've never heard them before.
It's funny you mentioned that too, because the other movie we're going to record tonight, which is next week's video or podcast, same boat for me, actually, because I've seen that one almost every year since I was a child, and I still laugh and have fun with it, so I get exactly where you're coming from.
Right. And it's not that I don't think this movie is great. I absolutely do, but I'm coming to realize that my nostalgia is so inherent in my looking at it because I can't separate it, or I'm having a very hard time separating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. For me, like, one example of a show or movie I've done where I know I have nostalgia for it, but I've grown up and learned to kind of put that down, is the Pokemon animated series. I grew up with that as a kid, and when I was a kid, I absolutely loved every minute of it, despite how dumb it was. And now that I look back on it at the age of 28, and have rewatched some episodes here and there to see how it holds up, boy, oh boy, does that not hold up at all. Holy shit. So there are certain things that do hold up without scrutiny. I would say seasons 2 through 8 of Simpsons still as perfect as the day it came out, without question.
Nice.
But there are other shows that don't, so I totally get it. And it's hard to weigh nostalgia versus is it actually good sometimes. I get it. Trying to think of where else I want to take this one here. Do you want to go straight into the discussion questions?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
All right. So, coming off of Die Hard and the thugs they had, which are very like professional and handle their shit really well, these crooks kind of gave me a sense of whiplash.
Did they? How so?
How do you feel, Ryan?
I mean, I love them, honest to God. I mean, just Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern just kind of losing their fucking minds trying to outwit this kid. I think it's I think they do the opposite of what they do with Die Hard. Remember how we were talking about you elevate how boss John McClane is by making his opponents like actually really, really good and really competent.
Yes.
They do the opposite, I feel like, here because, of course, like these are two grown-ass men who have successfully robbed houses before, but this child, this albeit invented child, this child is getting the best of them at every turn. And so kind of bringing them down to his level, like you can tell that Kevin is smart and very intelligent and you're enjoying watching him like win, but it's also just sheer comedic value that these two grown-ass ridiculous men are getting smacked in the face with paint cans because this child is booby-trapped their house.
Oh, no, exactly. And I think this specifically works perfect for a comedy.
Yes.
Because that's what the scenario is. It's supposed to be funny. You're supposed to get a laugh. If these thugs were competent in any way, the humor would be gone in a minute because they would have shot the kid and be like, well, we're here. Let's
that would have been it. That would have been it.
Now I kind of want to see the roles reversed. Like I want to see Hans Gruber try to break into this kid's house. Be like, you got the bearer buns in here somewhere, Kevin. I'm gonna find them.
Try and throw a paint can at that blonde dude, see how he takes it.
Oh man, that guy would have been so pissed off. Meanwhile, you got the other two guys getting their ass kicked by John McClane before they even get in the room.
Yeah, oh god.
It wouldn't even been funny. But yeah, no, it's just weird how they were so good at... I guess, okay, they weren't good, but they were at least serviceable in robbing the other houses. They had a good plan. Their plan was really solid, actually, in terms of waiting for everyone to leave, casing all the joints like a cop, and just getting everything prepped up. Their prep was great, flawless even.
Yeah.
But the actual execution at the end, man, I'd say the two biggest faults were obviously Kevin, and then why would you go and flood all the houses? Like, I get you wanted a signature, man, but they're going to connect them all to you then if you get caught. Like, come on. Come on.
Oh my god. The tar. Jesus Christ.
Okay. Next one I got here for you. How long would it take you to notice that Kevin was not there with you?
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
So I am someone who compulsively checks and rechecks everything before I leave the house. Like, so when I go to work, I stop at the front door before I even grab my keys, which are on the hook. I pat myself down. My wallet, my one pocket, phone in the other, my little cards for security shit, and whatever mints I need to bring with me, my lunch, all that stuff. I pack myself down to make sure I got it all. At least twice before I leave, and then I'm like, okay, grab my keys, out the door. So I'm just thinking to myself, I personally feel like I would have noticed this right away. Be like, okay, I'm going to double count myself now, make sure everyone counted right, and make sure everyone's still here, because who knows, maybe he went to the bathroom in the time that she did her count and the time I get behind the wheel. So... yeah. But I'm crazy like that. I'm fucking crazy.
I understand where you're coming from, and the biggest thing that I love about this premise is how fucking believable it is.
Oh, it is. It's very believable.
Like, you're wrangling fucking how many people? Like 15 people. You're already...
At least 8 of them children.
Like, at least 8 of them children. You're already late. Nobody's dressed. Nobody's packed. Like, everything is just, like, 100 miles an hour, just trying to get to this and trying to make the flight with 18 people. It was so plausible that it really sells it. And I think that's one of the most important moments of the movie, because if you don't have a believable premise as to why this kid is home alone, the rest of the movie just kind of falls apart. So I bought it, honestly. If I was in that same situation trying to wrangle like damn near 20 people, and I made sure to count everyone, and I didn't look Kevin in the face, but that's because Kevin's being a little asshole and I see his head over there, so he's fine. I can absolutely buy that happened.
I hear you. Like I said, I'm just very anal when it comes to fucking checking my shit all the time.
Like, I check my shit all the time, too, but then again, I've never been in charge of a 16-person trip. So, I can see how some shit would fall by the wayside.
Neither have I. No one has yet to give me such an opportunity, and they'll be cursed for that. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Do you think Kevin's parents are good parents? I feel like I've asked this question of other movies. Very similar questions, at least. Common theme.
You know what? I think they're real parents. Honestly. And this is something that I keep coming back to it, and one of the things that I most enjoy about this movie is that the premise is ridiculous, but it gets there by the most realistic methods, and it's like if you're with a huge group of your family and people are being aggravating as shit, absolutely, parents can get mad at their kids can get mad at their parents. And I think, and what I love about this movie and what I love about the sequel, what it does really well, is it uses the premise to really hone in on the importance of family, not just from Kevin's side, but also from the parent side. You have the parents just freaking out, oh my god, I was super pissed at my kid, and then I accidentally left him across the country. God damn it, I'm a shitty mom, and then it's just you have all of this. Kind of reveal of how they could be better people from both sides of the equation. So I would say yes. I would say that they are good parents. They're not perfect, but once the imperfection is made known, they work hard as hell to fix it, and the love that they have for each other really shines through.
That's fair. Yeah, I would say they're fine parents. They're good parents. They owned up to their mistakes. They did everything they could to fix them, and they made realistic mistakes to boot. Had they, left him in the attic on purpose, that would have been a whole other story. But they didn't. They didn't mean to. They didn't know what was going on. So yeah, I can sympathize with that a little bit. Speaking of which, let's go to the next question. Ryan, do you like Kevin? Can you sympathize with Kevin? Do you want to follow Kevin as your protagonist?
I like Kevin as a protagonist. Okay. I mean, I think he's a really believable, smart-ass little 9-year-old who does exactly what I would expect him to do when he's sitting there hating on his family, and then all of a sudden they disappear. He's like, all right, I'm freaking do whatever the hell I want. I think they do a good job of making him smart yet not wise. And Kevin really, really embodies the distinction between those two. Because Kevin is a very smart individual, but he's 9. He doesn't know shit about the world just yet, and that shows through a lot in his actions and what he does. So I think he makes for a good protagonist because he's fun to watch, and his character actually grows over the course of this nonsense.
That's fair. I will say that at the beginning of the film, I was kind of I don't like this kid. He's a pain in the ass. And I think that's part of the film's point. I think it's trying to set you up with that to make you then turn around on him later.
Yep.
Because in the beginning, when he was left alone, I'm like, well, I don't sympathize with him either. Because, it's not like, he can't handle himself. I'm sure there's plenty of, microwavable food and other crap he could use. It's not the end of the world. But, no, I think when I look back on him... So you say he's smart but not wise or anything like that?
Yeah.
So I equate him to Bart Simpson in that he's a troublemaker whose intelligence aligns with mischief, pranking, and chaos, whereas when it comes to stuff like packing bags or passing a math test, not as good. And they both have a lot of similarities in that regard. That's kind of what allowed me to at least kind of follow him as a protagonist. Okay, I can understand he is our live-action Bart Simpson surrogate here. Let's see where this takes me.
Yeah.
And it worked for the most part. I don't think I was, as impressed with him as I was with, say, Bruce Willis, the last movie we did. But that's, apples and oranges, so I know that's not fair. But I'm just saying, for what we got, he was fine, but not my favorite protagonist overall, I don't think.
That's fair. That is fair. That is definitely fair. I like the drawing of him as a real life Bart Simpson. I can see that. The only difference that I would draw is that I think that Bart is Bart is only really intelligent when it comes to like mischief and like other silly shit. Whereas I can actually buy that Kevin's just an all around really intelligent kid, but he's just bored. Like in regards to anything that's not like mischievous. Like if he like for Kevin, I feel like if he actually applied himself, he would probably just ace any fucking assignment that was passed at him.
Actually, so here's a funny thing. So I'm going to derail us for 5 seconds here. So, I saw a Simpsons fan theory video, literally like a month ago. And it was, are the Simpsons all geniuses? Now, I'm not going to get into every one of them. But it did specifically go into Bart for a little bit of it. And their logic was that Bart is very intelligent. All of his pranks, all of his schemes, all of his backhanded stuff is actually quite intelligent for what he can pull off. And he has shown some aptitude for some schoolwork throughout the history of the series, though not consistently. And their logic was that he saw how his father was. He had been smart as a child, but gave it up and stayed away from it because he found happiness in being stupid and ignoring all the responsibilities of being a smart person.
Oh,
and he saw the bliss his father had, and he's like, why should I work hard and put up with that bullshit? I'm going to have fun and cause chaos too. Which is why Bart is how he is today. And why Lisa's the only one who actually loves her intelligence because she wants to suffer for it.
What? Damn. Okay.
It's deep. It's real deep.
That's real deep. Hold on.
Yeah, I could get into the theory that goes on for fucking 10 minutes, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to plant the seed. It's really good, though. I like it.
Shit, that's really sad. Oh, man. Oh, God.
Just a little bit. Moving on to something a little less sad. So, Ryan, maybe you could explain to me, since you are a veteran of this film. So, in the beginning of the movie, why is the family so quick to dog on Kevin? Is it just a big family thing, or is it something that's specific to this film?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think part of it is, big families just kind of ganging up on the little one, but also it's like quintessential to like Kevin's character because Kevin is an unlikable little shit at the beginning. He's a very irritating child, like at the beginning of the movie. So it's almost like a loop that feeds in on itself. It's kind of coming from both sides. Kevin's like actively antagonistic towards a lot of them because he's reacting from the antagonism of the family. And, that happens a lot in just, like, families in general. So, again, I think that's a very realistic thing. Like, and the only kid who wants to hang out with him is the also annoying one who wets the bed. It's just like, can't catch a break. You just can't catch a break with this kid.
Nah. And, I get you. And I remember, so for me, it was kind of the reverse when I was a kid. So I had a little brother, and you'd think the little brother would be the one that gets in more trouble and shit, but what's funny is as the older brother, apparently it was my responsibility to be the better person.
Yeah.
And so whenever he got in trouble, a lot of times I got in trouble. And I'm not gonna pull any specific instances because I can't remember all of them. But I know there were many times where he would do something, I was there, and somehow I got roped into the trouble of it. And I'm like, what the hell? What did I do? So I in a similar boat, I get Kevin's plight, just not as directly. I understand the random troublemaking, or the random punishments for shit I didn't really have any control over. I get it. Let's see what I got here. Okay, next one. What do you think of Marley and what he represents in the film? Or does he represent something in the film?
Now, I actually really, really like Marley because, and I think it's something that they do in both the first and second movies, but they have really deep and poignant truths about family and about kindness and about like pretty much the holiday season delivered by these alienated outsiders. And these are the guys that are kind of shunned off from society. Like in this movie, it's the creepy old dude that everybody thinks is a murderer and nobody wants to talk to him. And in the second movie, it's actually a homeless. It's actually a homeless woman who talks to birds and is a little spooky at first, but then once you talk to them, you realize that they're also people too. They also have a lot of wisdom, and they've lived full and separate lives. Some things of them are tragic as hell. And I like how they use those characters to not only talk about just the importance of family and kind of making amends and mending fences with the people that are supposed to be in your tribe, but also the kindness towards the ones locked outside, the ones alienated, like Kevin ultimately feels at the beginning of both movies. Like, Kevin is the guy who's getting picked on by everybody in the house, who wants to only be left alone. And over the course of the movie, he meets somebody who gets that wish that Kevin wants. Nobody wants to deal with this guy. Everybody leaves him alone, and he's there to tell him, that's not all it's cracked up to be. You should really hang on to your family. So I like that those characters serve multi-purposes.
Indeed. And some metaphorical representation I kind of see in Marley, and I might be speaking out my ass here, so bear with me. So he kind of reminds me of a guardian angel kind of character. Like, he's overlooking the whole situation, and he provides sage-like wisdom to Kevin when he needs it. And in his moment of need, when he's about to be, like I said, killed or tortured or whatever, Marley comes in and saves him. And I think it kind of fits because there's the whole saying of, angels gain their wings when they, help somebody or whatever. And in this case, he kind of does. When he helps Kevin, his reward is that he has the courage, or at least has the opportunity to reconnect with his own family. And it's kind of a nice little bit at the end to kind of think about there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, so I got a little more fun question here for you, Ryan. What is the best trap Kevin deploys on the Team Rocket?
Oh, shit. Ooh. Oh. Oh, damn it. I can't pick. Oh my god. What's also
okay, I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in there. So I really like, and I know it seems very simplistic, but I like the fake light switch that pulls down and the iron falls on his face. I like that one a lot. It should have probably caused a lot more brain damage, but I like it because it's such a simple setup that you don't see in live action shit very often.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I mean, the pratfall comedy in this movie is just the greatest thing. Ah, shit. Oh man. I think I'm going to go with the tar. That was
that was a good second choice
the
for me.
tar, yeah, it was perfect. Especially because it evokes that whole John McClane feeling. It's just like he's systematically got him to take all his fucking footwear off, and then had him step right on a fucking nail. It was perfect. Oh my god.
I mean, the nail looked like it was big enough he didn't need to take his shoes off, but what do I know? But a lot of good traps there. I will make one criticism. I'm surprised that they went with the little micro machines instead of having Legos. I feel like Legos would have been an immediate connection for most people, honestly.
I would probably think that they might not have been able to get the licensing for it.
That was my guess when I talked about it with Amanda. I'm like, Legos would make more sense here. I bet they were too expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess this is a follow-up to that one. How would Kevin's traps be different if the film was made today?
Oh shit, dude! This film couldn't exist today.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Especially in the suburbs, every single one of them houses are like alarmed out the wazoo. There is literally with cameras and fucking people implanting like tracking chips in their kids nowadays. No, there's no way this could be made in current.
Are tracking chips in children commonplace nowadays? Like, I don't have kids yet, so I don't know for sure. But like, I haven't really heard much about those at all.
It's not like common, but I mean, I'm sorry. It's just like there's enough like. There's been so many innovations in security things and surveillance, especially with your house, that like if you have a big ass house in the suburbs like that, then there's no way in hell that it isn't going to be wired up the wazoo. So.
Oh yeah, my brother actually got some security cameras recently, and he was showing how he could like look at them through his phone and everything. It was interesting. Says he could get a good deal because he knows a guy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Something to look for when I'm getting a house next year. We'll see how that goes.
That's adult. Those are adult problems, man. It's grown up problems. Grown up shit.
I don't know. I feel like if so barring the heightened security, I'm thinking to myself, I feel like Kevin's traps would definitely be so. Looking at kids nowadays, I feel like some of the traps, like anything involving a toy, for example, would probably be hard to pull off because most kids nowadays at that age, they have their iPads, they have their Nintendos. They don't have little toys everywhere.
For real physical toys, are they even a thing anymore?
So like I said, I think Legos would still be a thing. I think Legos are still popular enough with most kids that you'll probably see those. Outside of that, I'm trying to think of what else would actually stick around because I don't know, man. That'd be very interesting. I'd love to see someone's take on a modern spin on this. Like, I don't think it'll ever happen, but a modern, like a short video, not a long movie, just a short video, kind of like, hey, this is our idea of what we think Home Alone would look like in 2019, and we just kind of see like a maybe 15, 20-minute rendition of their bullshit, and it's like, oh, this is clever. I like how this is going.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
My final question, Ryan, and this is going to be something I'm going to ask for the next one, too, because I think of the 4 movies I picked for the holidays this year, 3 of them are kind of iffy in terms of their status as a Christmas movie. So John McClane's whole experience in the last film, even the actor himself says it's not a Christmas movie. But we agreed it is, because it has enough of the tone, it has enough of the atmosphere, it has the music, it has enough stuff calling back to it. The next one, I got a fun discussion on that one. And then this one here, the Christmas elements take kind of a back seat for the most part. You only really see heavy use of Christmas stuff on the final, few minutes of the film when everyone comes back home. So my question to you, Ryan, is, do you consider this to be a Christmas film?
Yeah, 100%. While it gives a less emphasis on the actual, Merry Christmas, ho 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 type stuff. I feel like the movie's central message and central conceit is the importance of family and the importance of kindness, especially around the holidays. It's a chance to really get together and get close with the ones you love. And I feel like this movie is focused on the importance of that familial bond. So I would say that while it's light on the decorations, I think this movie really speaks towards the spirit of Christmas and the importance of those family ties during the time of year.
Goofy hijinks aside, of course.
Goofy hijinks aside, I think the big thing is the love between the kids and their parents. Yeah,
that's fair. That's very fair, and I would definitely have to agree. It's not a Christmas tradition that I've ever had to watch this movie, but I also never watched Die Hard, and I will watch Die Hard probably all the time now. This one, maybe not so much, but I will definitely let my kids give it a shot when they're younger, rather than waiting until they're 28 and doing a podcast to watch it for the first time. That way they have an opportunity, but at the same time, we're in 2018, and by the time they're old enough to actually watch and remember films, which I'm going to say 2023, 2024, maybe there'll be some other movie for their generation that's not this, but in a similar vein of their Christmas classic. So who knows? Maybe they won't click to this, but they'll click to some other weird shit that I won't get, because what the hell is this weird thing you kids are watching. Why are you wearing a headset to watch it? Get back to your DVDs and Blu-rays, children.
Back in my day, movies existed on a disc.
Am I out of touch? No, Seymour. It's the children who are wrong.
Children who are wrong.
Speaking of being wrong, Ryan, are you ready for our next segment?
Oh man, I'm always ready to be wrong.
That's right. It's time for Christmas Trivia Round 2. Cue the music. Alright, so Ryan, I've got round 2. It's a little harder than last week's round 1, but not quite as hard as our Scrooge trivia we already did.
Oh, thank God.
So, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Question number 1. Before becoming tied into Christmas, what was Yule?
Yule?
Y-U-L-E. What was Yule? You may be more familiar as it being referred to as the Yuletide season.
I'm gonna guess it was some type of, like, winter equinox pagan festival or, like, celebration type thing.
Ding, ding, ding.
Christianity's real good at stealing those. Oh, wow.
Point 1 for Ryan. That's good. Okay, I'm going to double check this one real quick before I give you this question because I've seen 2 answers to this now, so I want to double check here.
Alright.
Okay. Okay, so I've seen conflicting answers for this one, so if you get either of the decades I've seen, I'll give you the point, but here we go. Question number 2. In what decade did Coca-Cola begin using Santa in their commercials?
Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, okay.
Like I said, you got a little leeway. You have 2 decades to work with here, because I've seen 2 different answers. I'm thinking it's certainly one of them and less the other one. So, but I'll be nice and count the other ones. It's the one I found first.
Okay. I'm thinking back to the billboards and, like, old timey Santas with the bottle of Coca-Cola. I want to. Oh man, I might be going back too old, but
we'll see.
I'm gonna guess 19. Fuck.
If you only audience know and are furiously typing away in the comments, I apologize. Your answer will not be read aloud here because we're recording in October. It's way too early for you. Stop that.
I'm gonna guess the 20s.
Okay, so that's the answer I got in my first look up at this question. But other answers are saying early 30s, like 31, 33. I'll give you the point because that's the answer I first saw, but I'm seeing early 30s as well. So late 20s, early 30s is what I'm seeing.
I'll take it.
That's good. Okay. I'm curious to see if you can get this one. I feel like you won't, but I have faith. Who did the Nazi German regime replace Santa with?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that question. What?
All right, let me repeat. So for kids out there, there's a thing called Nazis. They're bad people from Germany back in the 1920s into 30s and 40s.
And today, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, this is for specifically that German regime, though. So they took over the part of the world. They almost took over the whole world, but we stopped them along with our friends. We stopped them. So guys, Ryan in particular, who did the Nazi German regime replace Santa with in Christmas stuff?
Man.
I will give you a
What?
hint. I'll give you a hint if it helps. He's a name you are actually familiar with, and he has a big white beard in most depictions, like Santa.
Okay. Germans, big white beard.
He's gonna kick himself if he doesn't get it, and I tell him what it is.
Germans, big white beard. It's not. No. That would be like Scandinavian, wouldn't it?
What answer are you thinking, Ryan? I want to hear because I feel like you might be on the verge.
Well, if I'm thinking, because I know nothing about German culture, but if you're saying it's somebody I know with big white beard that could possibly replace Santa for the Germans, and thinking of the Nazi regime, Odin? No.
That would be correct.
You're kidding! What?
It is a thing, and it kind of adds more credibility to the whole Red Skull knowing about Norwegian or Scandinavian folklore. That's kind of interesting, that connection there.
What the fuck? Okay, had you not said that I know the name, I wouldn't have got it. I wouldn't, because I'm thinking it's not Norwegian or Scandinavian. That it's what the fuck do Vikings have to do with the Germans?
I had to give you a fair shake.
I appreciate that.
All right, last two questions here, Ryan. In what country did the song "Silent Night" originate?
Oh shit.
Round 2 does not play around, guys. In round 3, ooh boy, just you wait.
I'm going to guess Germany because I've sung Stille Nacht so many times at church, and I'm pretty sure that's the original language, that it was originally in German, so I'm going to go with Germany.
You are so close, but you need to jump over the border to Austria.
Austria! You're
so
right,
close.
It is Austrian. God damn it.
Hey,
Well
I'll give you like a halfie for that one, though. Germany is so damn close to Austria. I mean, that's kind of where World War II sort of was around anyway. So.
It was I'm pretty sure the original language was German, so Stille Nacht. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Germany. But all right. Actually, I did okay on that one.
And the final question for tonight, which I think you'll probably get. It's one that has a logical answer to it. Who created the first electric light Christmas display?
I'm gonna guess Edison. It would make sense with the fucking
That would
bulb.
be correct.
Yes.
4 out of 5. Not bad for round 2.
All right.
Before we get to close it out, I'm going to give you all a quick heads up. You can email us or contact us to give us your comments, your questions, concerns. If you have a favorite movie of Christmas you want to add to the list for us to talk about. If you want to talk about Shyamalan movies next month with us, or February is more anime movies, I have Akira, Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and Your Name scheduled for February. And then we have some DC stuff starting in March. So if y'all want to jump in on the train and tell us your favorite movies of those, bring up your thoughts or comments about them, or if you want to talk, if you want to ask us any questions at all, we have Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook. We have a Steam group that's still active somewhat, and we have an email. Ryan, what is that email?
That is evacstation@gmail.com.
evacstation@gmail.com. And like I said, you can also comment below. And we would love it if you could go to our Patreon to support us. You could also leave comments there as well in all of our many posts. And on top of that, too, please like and share and rate our podcast on your platform of choice. The more ratings we get and the more shares you provide for it, the more likely we are able to be seen by other viewers and other listeners on iTunes, Google Play, etc. that are not just you. So we would love to hear from get more people listening to us, because that would help us boost our numbers, and maybe even get more people over to our Patreon to help support us this holiday season, because we're broke-ass bitches. Yeah. And moving on to our final segment. Ryan, are you ready to rate this movie?
Yes. 100%.
For those who are familiar with our format, we are taking a break from the normal gold, silver, platinum, and instead we are going to be going with a simple nice list or naughty list for our Christmas films. Ryan, Home Alone, nice list or the naughty list?
This is my childhood. This shit came out when I was but months old. So I've loved it ever since I was a little kid. So I'm going to absolutely have to put it on the nice list. It's so much fun, and it has a really good message behind it too.
You know, so I was on the fence with this one. Not that I hated it by any means, but it wasn't anything that like super clicked with me. But talking with you and kind of going through it all again and kind of just thinking about more on it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all, and I think it definitely should be on the nice list. It's not something that blew me away. It's not something that I'm like, whoa, why did I miss this for like almost 30 years?
Right.
Man?
It's not instant classic, and like it definitely could. There are things about it that could have been done better, but I think it hits the notes it's trying to hit really well, and it's just the nostalgia. It just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy.
Absolutely. It's an adequate film, and if you want something to watch for your holiday season, this is not a bad film to pick up. We have a bad film coming up later this month that, I wish I hadn't put at the very end of the year, but it kind of worked out that way. So, yeah. So that's all for this week. Tune in next week, and we're going to take you someplace a little bit spooky and a little bit Christmassy. It probably gives away what it is, so just tune in. You'll see what it is.
Yep. I was saying something from it just now.
Almost.
I'm going to hold it back.
So Ryan, anything else you need to say before we head out?
No. I can't wait for you guys to hear the next episode. I was very excited to do the next one as well.
Yep, I think these two middle ones are probably my favorite ones to record so far, or at least the ones I wrote up. So tune in next time, and we'll see you after the credits.
Bye!